What's up, you guys? So I just came back from work, and while I was at work, I was, online a little bit, checking out some videos, checking out some ideas, and something that I don't know if anybody really addresses is the challenges and the things that people don't really prepare you for when it comes to being a professional soccer player or aspiring to be a professional soccer player. And they're definitely things that are not highlighted because nobody wants to talk about this or how it affected them or anything of that nature. And I'm like, you know what? Somebody needs to tell the people like what it's actually like for majority of the players, because everybody sees the famous players, the players that are making a lot of money, the superstars, and that's who the people like to follow. But for us players that are not quite at that level yet, I feel like somebody needs to inform the younger generation or anybody aspiring to be a pro what it's really like and the challenges that come with it, because trust me, there's a lot. So in this video, that's pretty much what I'm gonna tell you guys about the challenges that I went through, the challenges that a lot of players go through that I might not even go through myself, but it's something I want to tell you guys, so that's what I'm gonna tell you guys in this video. So yeah, stay tuned.
I ain't no imposter, my shorty like impossible. Need a long table just to eat with my apostles. Gotta get it now, you know they crucify the greatest. And now be damned if I die before I make it. I ain't saying nothing that you never heard before, but promise when I say it, it's gonna leave another feeling broken. If I'm stuck out in the rain, know that I won't origami means I never fall. Never told, always staying on my toes. A real nigga told me gotta live your best life. A real homie told me do it if it feels right.
Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you guys in this video that not a lot of people prepare you for is that you are going to be told no a lot. And when I tell you a lot, I mean by all different levels of coaches and all different level of your career or your youth career, that trust me, you will be told no. And sometimes it's not up to you, and it might not be because you're a bad player. There just might be some possibilities, like maybe there's not enough roster spots, not enough international spots, they don't have the budget. Maybe you get visa issues for trying to play in another country. So trust me, you will be told no multiple times. Or maybe it might be some issue with dealing with your agent. They just might not like your agent, or they might prefer working with another agent. So there's all sorts of reasons why a coach or organization or a club might decline you and might tell you, go somewhere else. And you just have to be prepared for that, and you have to keep a strong mentality, because sometimes that can discourage a lot of players. Being told no, they could start thinking, maybe this isn't for them, or they're just not good enough, or they should, do something else with their life. And that's not always the case. Sometimes the circumstances just don't go in your favor. It's happened to me multiple times. Even with my previous club in Austria, I couldn't get a visa or a long stay visa, so I had to leave. Some coaches will say, oh, maybe you're good enough, but you're just too old, or you're just too young, or you're just not there yet. Anything could be a possibility. So that's something that's not talked about enough, I feel like, is that you get rejected a lot. Even the superstars, they got rejected in the past. So just be prepared for that, and that's gonna come whether you like it or not. Somebody's gonna tell you no at some point, and you just have to be able to hold your head high and really just keep pushing forward. The next thing that I don't think a lot of players or people in football emphasize enough is that if you go on trial somewhere, and if you're going on a tryout or a combine, whether it's for college, high school, a professional team, is that in order to take up a roster spot, chances are you have to be significantly better than the competition. Now those might be a little bit different if you're trying out for high school teams. Obviously, in a high school team, you only have a select group of players from the high school, so it's not as prevalent. But anywhere else where you're going as the unknown player, or you're trying to take somebody's spot or take a roster spot from another player that could come in the future, you have to understand that just being able to play at that level is usually not good enough. A lot of players can play at that level and, hold their own, make their way through the team, maybe not be a starter, but be a rotation player. And I'm telling you, the best advice that I got early on is that in order to succeed and get that contract or make that team, you really need to be, or at least show for however long, that you're head and shoulders above the players, because chances are they have tons of players they're looking at, even players that might not be at the tryout or might not be at the combine. It could be through an agent, another agent, and you just have to know that just being able to play there is typically not good enough. You really do have to show that you're levels above the current team, and maybe even if it's an age group thing, the age group above. So oftentimes in my trials, I've had to try out when I was younger with an age group above, just so that they know that I can hang with them, and if I can hang with them, then I'm definitely better than my current age group. So yeah, that's the next thing I want to tell you guys, is that don't be complacent with the level that you're at, because chances are you really do need to be significantly better. Now, the next thing is, it kind of goes hand in hand with my previous point, but it's also something that needs to be highlighted, is that whenever you think you're doing enough work, chances are you're not doing enough work. There's always somebody who's grinding and who's training that little bit extra. Obviously, you don't want to overwork yourself so that you don't pick up any injuries, or so that you don't burn yourself out or anything like that. But just know that when you're, out relaxing or out having a good time, whether it's partying, whether it's with friends, there is somebody gunning for your spot or gunning for that opportunity. And you just need to remember that typically more work can always be put in, whether that's just taking care of your body and relaxing properly, or actually going to the pitch or going to the gym or doing some individual work or analyzing film and learning that way. There's always something more you can do, and that's something I really didn't learn until I was like 14-ish. When I started playing with the US national team at under 14, I think that's when I really realized that, wow, there are this many players that are above my level or at the same level as me, and I had to work, because clearly they've been putting in the work to get to this level, and I need to put in the work to stay at this level and excel even further. And that really set me up to have the youth career that I did and push me on to a professional career. So yeah, always remember, do as much work as you can, because somebody is gunning for that spot, and believe me, if they're doing more work than you, chances are they're gonna get it. Now, this is the next point that I can tell you they do not want to talk about, and I don't think I've even talked about myself. It's something that I just never thought to share, to be honest, but I figured, you gotta share it. When you're aspiring to be a professional soccer player, whatever level that you're at, well, not if you're at the superstar level, but if you're, at the grassroots and you're trying to make your way into the professional game, I'm gonna tell you right now that there's going to be many opportunities where you are not making much money. And sometimes you might not be making any money, but you might have to make sacrifices like that to get a roster spot, because maybe they might think of another player, but that other player is gonna, cost them money. And if you cost less, they might go with you. And I've had to deal with that myself. I don't think a lot of people know this, but when I was playing in Portugal in the 3rd division there, my team was in 2nd place, trying to get promoted to the 2nd division. And I was signed to actually make money. Like in my contract, I had the ability, I was supposed to be making money. They were supposed to pay me, and it didn't happen. Yeah. Not many people know that. I actually was, playing for free. I was making no money whatsoever, not a single dime. All my teammates were getting paid that were, Portuguese that lived there. Me, nope, not a single dime. And I knew that from probably maybe like after 2 weeks, when I obviously didn't get paid for the first time. I was like, okay, this is an issue. And in that moment when I realized I was not getting paid, I could have just said, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to leave because you guys aren't paying me, so I'm going to get out. But instead, I decided to stick it through because I wanted to keep improving as a player myself and try to get as much exposure as possible being on the field in that league, which was a very good league at the time. So just know that there's going to be opportunities where you're not making much money or no money at all, and I need Anybody aspiring to be a pro to understand that is part of the journey. It's not something many players can skip out on. It just happens. Like, there's so many divisions, so many leagues, so many teams, and not every team can pay you top dollar or even minimum wage, believe it or not. So yeah, don't worry if you make no money. That's part of it. Sometimes you can sacrifice that and just, you know, hope and pray that your opportunity comes to make even more money if you perform well. But yeah, making little money is quite common, and it happens more than people think. And this is the last point I wanted to talk about. This is going to be a rather quick video because my points are pretty concise and they're pretty straightforward. And even though after all that I told you about putting in work and being better and making no money, I need anybody watching this video that wants to be a professional soccer player, I need you to understand that sometimes you need a bit of luck. And that might be the case for all sports, to be honest. But specifically football, or specifically soccer, you might need some luck to get to where you want to be. Sometimes you can be the best player anybody has seen with their 2 eyes, but if you don't have the exposure or the agent, or you don't have the timing, might not be right. Let's say you're a free agent at this time but want to go to this team and they're just not looking for players. There can be a multiple of reasons, and you do need a slight bit of luck sometimes to make it. I have been fortunate enough to have that luck when I was younger. As I got older, it varies, but I'm lucky enough to be able to continue my professional career. Some players might have more luck than me. It is what it is. That's the name of the game. Unfortunately, it's part of it. So don't be discouraged all the time if, you know, it doesn't go your way. Sometimes people are just more lucky than others, and they might be there at the right time. But that's really what I had to share with you guys. It's nothing too ridiculous, except for not getting paid. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But I just think that not many people told people about this, and I wanted to, you know, spread my wisdom to you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. Hope you got something out of it. And the next time I have something to share with you guys, believe me, I'm going to share it. So yeah, be easy.